Welcome to Previously On, a podcast series created to help you through some of the most complex yet brilliant television ever made. Game of Thrones, Season 5, Episode 8, Hard Home. Tyrion and Jorah stand before Daenerys and plead their case as to why they should be allowed to live. Tyrion passionately explains that he has turned his back on his family for good and wishes to serve her. He puts forward a compelling case for becoming an advisor due to his previous experience in politics. Daenerys accepts, but ponders what to do with Jorah after vowing to kill him if he ever returned to her presence. Remember, he betrayed her by originally being a spy for Robert Baratheon. Daenerys spares his life, but exiles him from the city as punishment. Punishments are dished out elsewhere too, as Cersei is visited by Septa Unella, an evil cow who taunts Cersei with water in return for the confession of her sins. Cersei asks to see Tommen instead, but is struck by Septa Unella. Confess! She does not. Arya is honing her acting skills with Jaqen in Braavos. She describes her new persona of Lana, an oyster seller, and describes her typical day-to-day activities and what route she takes while selling, showing how invested she is becoming in her role as a faceless girl. Jaqen informs her that she will take a different route the next day and poison a life insurance salesman to appease the many-faced god. In Winterfell, Theon enters Sansa's chambers and explains why he double-crossed her by telling Ramsay of her escape plan. Sansa asks why he killed her brothers, and he confesses he never actually did it, killing 2 farm boys instead. Hearing that her brothers might still be alive gives Sansa hope once more. In the Great Hall, Roose is preparing for war against Stannis, going through his battle plan with his advisors. Roose wants to hold back and let the wintry conditions take care of Stannis' army for him, whereas Ramsay insists they attack first. Back at the edges of Meereen, Jorah returns to Yezanzo Kagaz and asks he be allowed to fight in front of Daenerys in the fighting pits in order to prove his loyalty to her. Sam is being treated for his wounds after saving Gilly from the brothers' attack at the wall when Ollie walks in and asks to privately speak with him. Ollie asks how Jon could possibly allow the wildlings through the wall when they've killed so many, including his family. Sam explains that Jon made a really difficult decision, but ultimately the wildlings will be invaluable in the coming war. At Hardhome, Jon, Tormund and a group of the Night's Watch brothers have come to talk to the Lord of Bones, the leader of the wildlings, to persuade them to return with them to fight. Tormund shows his leadership skills, often kills this Lord of Bones and marches through the baying crowd, demanding the wildling elders gather for talks. Jon explains to them how dragonglass can kill a White Walker, telling them of Sam's success. Reasoning that the fight is not hopeless against the Night King and his army, Jon asks for numbers to help defend the wall in return for allowing the wildlings to farm south of the wall. However, Jon is then asked what happened to Mance Rayder, and he has to confess to killing him. This angers the elders, but Tormund assures them that it was out of mercy, not malice. After further talks, the wildlings agree. As everyone is loading the ships ready to leave, ice begins to roll down the cliffs and mysterious figures appear on the top. The group are attacked by a vast army of whites. A huge battle ensues with Jon nearly succumbing to a White Walker after losing the dragonglass in the heat of the battle. The White Walker gets momentarily stunned at being unable to break Jon's Valyrian steel sword. Jon quickly realises the Valyrian steel is special and scythes into the White Walker, shattering him into 1,000,000 pieces. Jon, Tormund and the Giant, 1-1, are among those who narrowly escape the still growing swarm of whites as they clamber onto boats. As they retreat, Jon sees the Night King emerge and walk to the edge of the pier in utter silence. Never breaking his gaze from Jon, the Night King strikes a pose and raises the dead on the battlefield as reanimated whites. Jon's dead comrades are now his undead foes. The army of the dead marches on, and Jon finally has his proof. Thanks for listening. Hope it's been helpful. Listen, if you've enjoyed this, I would love it if you subscribed. We've got loads more shows where this came from, and we'd love you to join us for them. If you know someone who needs to get up to speed with Thrones, just send them our way. A 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts from would also be absolutely fantastic. If you've got any feedback, If I pronounced a name wrong, I hope I haven't. Or ideas for a show that we should be covering. We'll almost certainly be doing the big ones, but you never know, there may be others that we've missed. Let us know. I'd love to hear from you over on Twitter. You can find us at Previous Podcast, or just email us hello@previouslyon.co.uk. Previously On is presented by Jamie East and is a Daft Doris production.